What's up, poker players? Hope you guys are out there crushing it on the tables. Played in a couple live events over the last couple days. Had one final table in the Deep Stack No Limit Hold'em 250 and took part in the Monster Stack No Limit Hold'em 2-day event 7 and just got back. Was eliminated about 3 hours in, but we've got some interesting hands to look at from these two tournaments. The first hand we're going to take a look at is from today's tournament. Like I said, we're about 3 hours into it. We started with 20,000 and our chip stack is a little bit less than that. We haven't been in really any hands. We've been playing pretty tight and the antes just kicked in. Time to loosen up, get in some hands. Our table is a little bit crazy. I've seen some all-ins with bottom pairs, calling down with bottom pairs. Just a pretty aggressive but very recreational table. And my strategy was to just sit back and wait for some hands, which leads us to this one where we are playing for the button and we are dealt pocket nines. It's folding around and we have an aggressive player to our right. He has been making a pretty standard open to 6x and he actually just got in a big hand and doubled up, opening to 6x on the previous hand with king queen offsuit. I elect to just make a call of the 4x open on the button with the nines, playing a hand in position against this loose aggressive player. The blinds get out of the way and we see a flop that is 10 high, 2-tone. We have middle set, a little bit over 3k in the pot. The aggressive player continuation bets 1300 and I don't want to let any of the draws catch up. I know that this player has a wide opening range and will most likely chase a draw in this spot. I probably could have made a bet a little bit bigger actually, but our opponent jams all in, before which he states, I don't call, raises, I ship them, I'm all in, and he aggressively pushes the rest of his stack in the pot. And I knew this was a little bit of Hollywooding, but even if he's playing the very top of his range in this spot, I'm ahead of aces, kings, queens, any of the big draws. The only hand that I'm really losing to is pocket tens. So I, of course, get the rest of my chips in and see the unfortunate news that we are up against a set of tens and he fills up on the turn. We need a 9 on the turn. River can't get there and we wound up getting knocked out of the tournament about 3 hours in. A major cooler on that one. But we did have a final table in the previous night's tournament and we got in some very interesting hands in this tournament, including this one where we are playing from the cutoff. This was right before the money. I think there was like 23 or 24 players left. 18 get paid and we are dealt ace king suited in the cutoff. Under the gun jams all in. He's only got about 5 big blinds at this point. Under the gun +2 makes a call. Action is on us and I'm getting the rest of the chips in here. Button folds and the cutoff, which is the big stack at the table, jams the rest of his stack in 350k and I do not like that one bit. And under the gun +2 then calls that large bet and I figure we are way behind, but everyone flips over their cards and it is ace king, and ace queen, which jammed in the small blind. That was kind of crazy. Wasn't expecting to see that, but it actually worked out for us because the pocket fives under the gun actually hold and quadruple up. This player wound up making the final table and our remaining chips doubled up off of the small blind. So we actually didn't really lose that many chips on this hand, but it was a wild one and pretty unbelievably no one got eliminated in this 4-way all-in. And now we are going to jump forward a little bit to the final table. Our chip stack is increased. We knocked out a few players when it was down to 2 tables, and this is where things really got interesting. We are 8-handed and playing from under the gun. We are dealt ace jack offsuit and we put in a raise a little bit larger than 2x. Just a little information before this. This player, which was the pocket fives from the last hand, was just eliminated by the big blind who had pocket aces and actually had aces back-to-back hands, this being the hand after back-to-back aces. Cutoff calls my open Small blind calls my open, and big blind puts in a fairly sizable raise, makes it 95,000 to go. Young player, seems competent, seems like he knows what he's doing. Only showed down aces so far. We don't have a ton of information, and I am on a tough decision right here. I thought about jamming, but I figured that this player knew my under the gun opening raise range was pretty tight, so I don't think he is going to be doing this with any two random cards. So I do make the fold, cutoff folds, and the small blind calls. There's 265 in the pot. Small blind has 229 left, a little bit less than one stack to pot ratio, and small blind jams all in on the flop. Big blind thinks about it and talks about it out loud, which is actually great because then we can get some information on this player. And he says, when you called, I figured you were just going to be jamming post flop no matter what came out. So I make the call, that being the big blind, and he shows 8-6 offsuit. Did not see that coming. Small blind has a gut shot and draws to the 9 or 10, but does not get there and gets eliminated. Big blind knocks out one more player in a very, very interesting hand. I really wish I would have jammed there, but I think I made the correct fold. You guys let me know what you think, and our read of the grinder big blind in this hand changes dramatically within the next few hands, if that didn't already change it. On the very next hand, we are dealt 8-6 suited hearts in the big blind. Folds around to the player who just won that pot with the 8-6 offsuit, and they min open. We defend in the big blind, just call here. See a flop. There's 71k already in the pot. We have 217 and a half left in our stack, and flop comes out queen high rainbow. We have bottom pair and a backdoor flush draw. Small blind checks. We check back. The turn is a perfect card for us. We have trips. Small blind checks once again, and no more checks from us. We put in a bet of 39,000, and the small blind calls. There is now 165,000 in the pot. We have 162.5 left in our stack, setting us up for a river jam if we choose to do so on the river. And the river is the 9 of diamonds. Small blind checks the river. I'm gonna go for some thin value in this spot and make it 44,000. I think we can get some crying calls from a lot of the pairs here, but the small blind jams all in, and at this point I really don't think that there is a bluff in his range. We are pretty much pot committed. I think he knows that. The only thing we beat is complete air. I don't see that happening very often. We still have enough chips to play a couple hands, so I do make the fold, and we lose another big portion of our stack. What do you guys think about this one? Could we have just checked back the river and shown down with this? Where we were going for too much with the thin value bets? Do you think we possibly could have called that river raise? Not much that we beat in that spot except for air, and I don't think he's going to be showing up with air too often. So on to the next hand, which happens to be the very next hand. This time we're playing from the small blind, and we are dealt pocket fives. Action folds around to the player that we just got in the pot with, and they open to 40k. We jam the rest of our stack in with the fives, putting the button on a decision. They're getting about 2 to 1 on their money, but I think our stack is just large enough to put them on a tough call. The dealer, our nemesis in the last 3 hands, announces that he's got really great odds here, even though his hand is terrible. So he does make the call and shows 9-8 offsuit. It's a coin flip. He hits an 8 on the flop, and we cannot get there, and we are eliminated in 7th place in the deep stack tournament and get paid a little bit more than $1,300. There was about 10k up top. We could have been a little bit more aggressive in this tournament. I think we might have missed the spot with the ace jack hand, but we can learn from our experience and improve for the next tournament that we play in. Head down to the video description for links to all the poker products that I use. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you have not done that yet. There's going to be a lot of interesting content coming up. I think we're going to start doing a few more of these live poker tournaments, maybe some live sessions, possibly putting in a little bit more of a vlog aspect. Let me know down in the comment section what you guys think the direction of this channel should go. Do you like the videos where we just analyze sessions? Would you like to see some more live streaming, some more vlog type content from live games? Let me know what you guys are interested in and what you would like to see more of. I will be back soon with a new video, but until then, I'll see you guys out on the virtual felt. Hit that like button and the subscribe button.
Run with the feeling of being alive while we're jumping off the porch like mom's not home. Just a couple kids living